During the council roundup earlier this week, where the Springfield City Council met, they had a lot of conversation about homeless population in Springfield, and you had Alderman Ralph Hanauer talk about the situation that too often they're hearing more and more about, and that's some of the people experiencing homelessness, trespassing. And how do you go about addressing that? Well, here is that back and forth with Alderman Hanauer and Springfield Police Chief Ken Scarlette from Tuesday night's City Council meeting.
And I'm not throwing anything against the police, but it just seems like when we catch homeless people doing illegal things, it's like they get a pass. If they're in a house that they're not supposed to be in, they should be arrested for trespassing, whatever. And I don't know how much, what the rules are, from the police standpoint. I don't, and our police do a great job with the homeless, but sometimes I think if I see them, if they're intoxicated in public or whatever, if I guarantee if one of us was, we'd probably end up downtown.
Need to be.
I can speak on that a little bit.
Yeah.
There are no different rules for homeless compared to anyone else when it comes to criminal trespass. That's a misdemeanor, and someone could be arrested, taken to the county. They'll be booked and released within minutes and back out. I mean, there's no magic building where we get to take people to and they get to stay in there. And the Pretrial Fairness Act is forthcoming as well, and that potentially could create some more issues when it comes to some of the stuff in that bill. And I think that, it's important to recognize that, again, law enforcement can go out, can take somebody into custody for trespass, take them to the county jail, they get booked in, they get released on their own recognizance, and then they're back out. And that's a vicious cycle that I think is only going to get worse, to be honest with you.
A vicious cycle that the police chief thinks is only going to get worse. He mentioned the Pretrial Fairness Act. That's no cash bail, and that goes into effect September 18th after the Illinois Supreme Court upheld that law. I asked Governor Pritzker for his reaction.
The Illinois program is going to provide some assistance, but the police chief did talk about the Safety Act and how getting people who are trespassing. He essentially said they'll be booked, go through the jail, but then they'll be back out on the street. Can you address those concerns that local law enforcement have?
About that particular provision, he's wrong. And let's be clear, that was amended in the Safety Act along the way. I'm very hopeful. And of course, we're looking at the court system and the state's attorneys and police, of course, to carry out the actual law, not what's been written about in right-wing press, but the actual law as it's intended to be carried out, which should, by the way, make neighborhoods and communities safer.
From my understanding, if somebody is trespassing, they can be issued a summons, or not a summons, but a ticket at first.
They can be arrested, though.
And if they don't, and if they leave, then they can be arrested.
Yes.
But then after that, can they just...
But there's no time to wait. There's no distance between you've been asked to leave and the person refusing to leave and them having the, the police officer having the obligation to arrest the person if the person isn't in fact leaving a property.
So again, Governor J.B. Pritzker reacting to the concerns that local law enforcement have of, say, there's somebody experiencing homelessness that's trespassing in an abandoned building and you call the police to have them removed. Well, police go, and with the Safety Act in place, they can issue a citation. And then if that individual doesn't leave, they can then be arrested, but it's a misdemeanor. It's a nonviolent misdemeanor, so they could be back out on the streets to then reoffend somewhere else. There you go. I'm just asking the questions and getting responses from the governor. Whether or not they're fully responsive to the concerns, I'll let you be the judge. It's now 7 o'clock.
From the Fly SPI Studios, take the